Hello everyone, welcome back to Into Sports. I'm your host Evan. Today I'm going to give you 3 NFL picks against the spread for week 2, starting with the Rams, heading to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Eagles 1-point favorite. They are my pick, meaning all Philadelphia has to do is win by more than 1, and I take a victory. I think there's an overreaction to a nationally televised game on Sunday, the Cowboys-Rams, Sunday Night Football. Everybody watched. People think the Rams are better than they are. Also, people are overreacting to the Eagles' loss to Washington. The Eagles had the 4th best defensive performance last week according to DVOA. Washington was also last in offensive yards. They got a lot of short fields. They held Washington to 3.4 yards per play, which is unbelievable. It was the best in the league, and the league average is about 5.5. So that's a whole 2 yards per play less than league average. The scoreboard was a little deceiving in Washington's victory against Philadelphia. Also, the Eagles, heavily injured in week 1. Right tackle Lane Johnson, running back Miles Sanders, they're going to be both back for Philadelphia. And you're going to tell me that a right tackle is going to swing the game? Well, the Eagles under Doug Peterson with Lane Johnson are 36-17, and without the right tackle, they're only 6-12. So that does move the needle. The Rams also have to travel from the West Coast to East Coast, which is a little bit of a difficulty. And I'm going to make the case that Wentz and Doug Peterson in big games are very good. They're desperate after an 0-1 start. They don't want to go to 0-2 because only 20% of the teams that start 0-2 make the playoffs. This is a team with Super Bowl aspirations. Last year, Philadelphia was 5-7. They essentially had to win out to make the playoffs. And they did so, going 4-0 down the stretch. In 2018, same circumstances. They were 4-6, and they won 5 of their last 6 games to barely squeak into the playoffs. They have been exceptional with their backs against the wall. They have a clutch factor. I'm buying into Philadelphia. 24-20, they beat the Rams. Next pick, Atlanta heads to Dallas. I'm going to take the Cowboys -4, meaning they have to win by more than 4 for me to win this pick. This is correlated to my Eagles pick. Back to the overreaction to the Sunday night game. People think the Rams are great, and people think the Cowboys stink just because of that game. That is not true. What's the book on Dak and the Cowboys? Well, they blow out bad teams, and they struggle against playoff teams, teams above 500, like the Rams. And the stats would match that. Last year, Dallas, 6-1 against the spread versus teams that finished under 500. And last year, Atlanta finished 7-9, under 500, and they also lost week 1. But Atlanta outgained Seattle by 123 yards, so they should have beat the Seahawks, right? No. Atlanta did what they have done the last 3 years. Put up empty, garbage time stats that make you think they played better than they actually did. Classic Atlanta performance week 1 against Seattle. They gave up 190 passing yards to Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf combined last week, and now they face Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. I like the Cowboys to win 31-24 at home, Atlanta to go 0-2, Dallas to move to 1-1. Final pick, I'm going to take my 3rd favorite today, which I normally don't do. Normally about underdogs, but I think during this COVID time, without off-season program, the difference between the top teams and the bottom teams has been exaggerated. So I like the Chiefs -8.5 at the Los Angeles Chargers, meaning they have to win by 9 or more to cover. Kansas City has 3 extra days of rest coming off of a Thursday night game, the opener versus the Texans. So that's 3 extra days of Andy Reid studying and scheming. I will take that. Kansas City, 14-5-1. 14-5-1 against the spread since the start of last year. That is absolutely ridiculous. Even though you have to pay a premium on Kansas City if you want to bet them, I would argue the market still hasn't caught up to the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. I think we have the best quarterback in Mahomes versus arguably the worst starting quarterback in Tyrod Taylor. Not impressive last week against the Cincinnati defense. This Kansas City defense is a lot better. Here's one thing about the Chargers defense. They play a cover 3 scheme most of the time. What do you need when you play cover 3? You need to generate heavy pressure with your defensive line. Last year against Kansas City, the Chargers only averaged half a sack last year, which was down from their typical 2 sacks per game. Couldn't get pressure last year on Kansas City. They lost both games. And the Chiefs' offensive line is great in pass protection, and Mahomes is really difficult to get to as he runs around and scrambles all the time, athletic. Chargers won't be able to generate enough pressure on Kansas City. And now the Chiefs have a legitimate run game with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so they can use that when they're up 14. No backdoor cover for the Chargers. I like the Chiefs to win 27-17 on the road. Philadelphia, Dallas, and Kansas City will all win and cover this weekend, week 2. Thank you so much for listening to the Into Sports podcast. Maybe click that subscribe button. I'm Hero7, and I'm out. Peace.